Hey, what's up, guys? Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound. It's Saturday, and we have a Pocket Change Market Report to discuss. This is for June 17th, 2023. I want to thank you guys for tuning in for another one of these very popular additions to my weekly calendar. So we are going to take a look at the most notable, I would say, ungraded varieties and errors to have sold here on eBay within the last 24 to 48 hours. Are we finally beginning to see a slowdown? We might. All right, we'll talk a little bit about that based off of the overall landscape of things. I've kept a close eye on the market as we're heading into the summer months here in the last few weeks, and I've noticed a little bit of a trend. Maybe a 5 to 10% correction, not only in the overall values of some of the normal mainstays of the arid variety market, but also just a general lightening, I suppose, of some of the coins that are being injected out into the marketplace. And then we're seeing that today. All right, I think people truly, genuinely are taking a break off, but probably it's not that big of a difference when we're looking at possibly just a regular, normal summer that we've been used to for the last few years. All right, so this segment of collectibles, that far supersedes like sports cards and video game collecting and comic books and everything else. Numismatics has always been more stable in various economies. I know it's more burgeoning during times of inflation, which, if you're going to read everything that you believe online and about how there's deflation, I'm just not seeing it. Nothing is getting cheaper as a result. We're still seeing some relatively strong sales from this side of the collectibles space, even though that maybe we're seeing a little slowdown in the precious metals market. Guys like Silver Seeker have talked about things like this. And, it's notable and it's worth bringing up. So I just want to let you guys know that. So a few things that we normally cover before we dive into the notable coins for the last day or two. We don't talk about graded coins. Again, the idea is if you find something, you just want to unload it immediately, sell it immediately. And the cool thing that I like most about errors and varieties is they sell for themselves. There's no really need to grade any of it or having to invest the sometimes large chunks of money for grading submission fees, which will ultimately dig into your profits. So if you're doing this as kind of a side hustle to make ends meet, keep that in mind. And also, we don't do anything with photography. You're going to get the original photographs from each respective listing. We didn't doctor or juice any of them, to make them look or appear better. You're going to get the most out of focus photos, and you're going to get some that are pretty strong and sharp. So just wanted to let you guys know that is the case. So at the very least, it's going to give you an idea of how low that bar is set. So that way, for those you folks that see photographing or imaging coins and currency might be a little bit of a challenge, look no further. You'll know exactly where you need to be there to kind of have some sort of success. All right, well, let's dive right in and see what's been happening here in the market here. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and all your views and support are greatly appreciative. So the first one that we have here, this is actually a coin that should be of no surprise, one of the more sought-after pieces. They are still worth some money, even in lower grades. Typically, we've talked about a lot of coins that are really nice, high mid-state condition, because a lot of those were found in that grade level back in the day. But how about one that's seen, some circulation wear? It's got carbon spotting all over the place. It doesn't look like the prettiest example. But this is indeed the Double the Die obverse. It's also referred to as the FS 101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. When we're looking at this here up close, you're going to see your strongest doubling in both the motto and on Liberty. So this one right here, again, just another coin that you don't need to grade unless you feel comfortable enough with the fact that it could grade mid-state 69, which is a very high grade to begin with. This one right here sold for $16.50. And for a while, for a longest time, even all the way up going to today, this has always been the most economical, budget-friendly, major double-to-die that you could purchase in the market today. So there's always going to be, I guess, the proverbial ass to every seat. There's going to be a coin for every budget level. So yeah, have no problem selling these if it doesn't fit your needs in your collection. The next one that we have here, we're going north of the border. Nothing too crazy here. This is a 1969 Canada quarter. A lot of issues with this coin. As you can see on both the obverse and reverse, there is a fair amount of deep scratches all over the place. But if you look beyond that, you'll see that this one is a sheet clip or a rim clip. You can see that here on the obverse right above Elizabeth. And a little bit of Blakesley effect on there as well, especially more prominent on the obverse, but you can see a little bit on the reverse as well. So this is a surprising one. It ended up selling for $30.28 US. So apparently this is maybe kind of a tough date to find with this minor error. I do know that, wherever you may be, coins are collected by date and by series. So if this is a coin that was more of a necessity because they just don't pop up in the marketplace, sometimes people will throw some pretty crazy money at them, even if maybe they're not justified. The next one that we have here is their first piece of currency, and it's very minor. This is something that a lot of people would generally overlook. 1976 $2 bill. Check out the overprint on here, and you'll see that it's misaligned by a little bit. The best kind of, the best place to look for misalignment on these is to look at the green seal and where it is respective to the large 2 right here. It could be the $1 bill, a 5, 10, whatever. So if this green seal is not perfectly centered right on the 2, then there is definitely some misalignment. Again, this is very minor, and I think where the importance of a misalignment is where you begin to have a little bit of overlay from the overprint to something that's on the first print, like the Francine Neff autograph here. You begin to see that it's overlapping the serial numbers. So that's kind of how it makes it a little bit special and more desirable. There's a reverse of the note. The note rather is very clean. I would say it's probably uncirculated. This one sold for $34. So a pretty nice substantial sale for this one. Okay, so we did have a few extra V 2023 Lincoln cents that did wrap up. Okay, so are these things plummeting in value? It's kind of hard to say. The 2 sales that I have to talk about today in this video are probably the wrong ones to look at, but they are the most recent within the last 24 hours. So as you guys know, these have the little extra V right next to the initials for Victor David Brenner. Again, this was talked about by error specialists like Mike Diamond. Ken Potter is researching this still as we speak. And there might be a little piece of news and information that might actually debunk this as a variety or an error. It's been speculated that this could be an ejection mark. All right, so something happened during the ejection of the coin out of the striking chamber where it made contact in that very spot every single time. There's been a few other examples where the V is, say, like way over here by an inch. Another one right above the V in VDB. So there's a few other variants out there. And I thought I'd let you know that this information is currently out there. Not sure if it's having any effect whatsoever on the marketability of these coins. But to give you an idea, this one sold for $55.25. The coin is in phenomenal shape. So is this more of an aberration of a sale, or is this kind of like the trend? It's really hard to say. A few things that you guys do need to know about. This one sold early this morning at 8:36 a.m. Not exactly the most ideal end time for any listing. And the seller has 4 feedback. So a very new seller. You know, there are a few things that could prevent folks from, bidding on an item. And a lot of it has to do with those 2 items. All right, the next one that we have here is, this one's here for a different reason. It's another 2023 Philly Lincoln Shield scent, but this one has a little bit of a light strike through. You can see that here at the bottom half of the coin, but also on the reverse as well, a little bit of strike through there on United States of America. There was just a little extra grease on the die, so when it strikes through that, it's going to show some considerable amount of weakness on there. And this one, surprisingly, again, this is another surprising sale. $15.50 with 8 bids. To me, this is minor, but if there aren't too many of these being sold out in the marketplace and they're as decent or strong as this one, then the price will justify the ownership of such. The next one that we have here, a nice date, 1960. It's a large date Lincoln Memorial scent. And this one here is here on the list because it's actually a nice double to die. I forgot this one even existed. This is DDO number 6. As you can see, the coin's in pretty decent shape. It does have a few stains and spots in certain areas on the coin. But when you look at the motto, "In God We Trust," you'll see this amount of doubling. Again, very subtle. If you're not looking for it, it's not going to pop out at you. You would need a magnifier or a microscope to be able to see things like this with enough clarity. This particular coin sold for $15.61, so always look out for these. It's worth the extra trip with the jeweler's loop to see. All right, we have a nice 1996 PU Roosevelt dime. This one is an uncentered broad strike, so there was a little malfunction in the collar, which holds the coin in place during the striking process. So all that metal flow has to go outwards beyond the actual diameter of the coin, I suppose. So this one's in really nice shape. It was probably found in a mid-sewn bag back in the day. And this one sold for $14.50 with a couple of bids. Oh boy, the coin that everybody loves to hate. This thing gets so much press for no reason whatsoever. And I can't even believe it's in the Cherry Picker's Guide. But we're going to talk about it. 1969D Lincoln Memorial scent, infamous for various different types of over-polished areas on the reverse. This one is missing the FG initials at the base of the monument, and that's the variety there. Usually that goes hand in hand with the floating roof. Again, it's an over-abrasion of the die. And yeah, it's a recognized variety by the Cherry Picker's Guide, folks. So this one sold for $23.01 with 4 bits. So again, there is some marketability here. They do tend to sell for this amount of money, and if that's the case, might as well take advantage of that while you can. Crazy error. The likelihood you'll find this in a roll or something pretty slim. 1991 Lincoln Memorial scent with a broad strike, number 1. Number 2, it's got an indent with a partial brockage. So the indent happens when another coin was overlapped, offset from this planchet, and it strikes 2 coins at the same time. So there is actually a matching coin that goes with this. Probably going to be, also a brockage as well. But this one right here, again, it's a neat coin. It is a copper-coated zinc-in. And it's sold for $45.25. Very attractive piece. One of the bigger bargains for today. Not the best photos, and listing. The listing wasn't that good either. It didn't even specify as it being a retained cut, but that's what we have here. On the 2022 Wilma Mankiller, these things, of course, as you know, were all the talk and the rage last year. You had both the single-sided and the double-sided retained cuts. This is the single-sided event. You can see that right on top of Washington's head. piece of the die had fractured but not completely fallen out. And this one sold for $105.25. So here's our other extra V that's sold, 2023 again, Philadelphia Mint. And there's the close-up there of the V anomaly on there, correct placement. And this one sold in the middle of the night. I mean, come on, guys. If you're going to sell these things, sell them so that way they end in the middle of the day. All right. So if you're going to be listing these at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is what this person did, you're going to get an end sale at 3 o'clock on the final day, early in the morning. So this one surprisingly sold for more money than the one that sold at 8 o'clock this morning at $88.25 with 27 bids. Again, because of the end time, I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock as this being the new trend price-wise for these coins. There's still plenty of them out there, and I would expect these to drop under $100 indefinitely here in the near future, only because a lot of people are looking for these. Our good old friend, the Crown Die Chip, makes another visit to the PCMR. 2021P, as we all know, one of my favorite reverse designs in quite a while. You do get those nice die chips on top of Washington's hat on the reverse. This is kind of like the medium progression. Not large enough to actually touch E pluribusunum like some of the bigger, more advanced Crown die chips. And this one sold for $30.25. And yeah, don't do this when you do these listings. You want to be as complete as possible with all the relevant keywords, not just putting error coin. They got lucky because they did a buy it now. If this was a regular standard auction, they probably wouldn't get quite this much money. I might be wrong, but I've seen it plenty of times before. Just go ahead and be as complete as you can and ensure your pricing on these. We have a pair of 2017 $82 bills. So you're getting two of these notes. These are the infamous over-inked stars. I talked about it earlier in the week, and now these things are popping out of the woodwork. So the two notes you're getting the over-inked star, like you see here on the left side, that ends in 3-9, and then you're also getting the one that ends in 4-0 that has no over-inked star. I mean, that little white dot's tiny, but it's not considered over-inked. And the pair sold for $34.50 with 11 bids. It's a pretty nice little mini error to find when you can. 1960D, really neat one here. Nice mid error. Some lamination issues on the front and back of the coin on this one. It's in decent shape. But you can see it peel apart there. So it's an attached lamination. It's not considered a clamshell because it's not totally at the edge. It's inside the rim. And as long as you keep it attached to the coin, it's going to be more desirable. So this one sold for $18. So look out for these. This one is quite minor compared to others I've seen in the past. And this is a strong one here. Sometimes 1980s coins can fool the heck out of you. This is actually a very impressive clash dies error. You can see it on both sides of the coin. The reverse is especially strong, where you can see the outline of Jefferson's bust, but you can also see Monticello on the obverse. So always want to look out for. You can find them on just about any date during the 80s. This one sold for $23.27 with 19 bids this time. Our feature coin of the week is one that you guys absolutely need to pay attention to. Now, I know the 1960 Denver Lincoln Memorial cents have kind of a target on its back, primarily due to the just huge population of varieties that you could find for the date. I mean, there are dozens to look for, and that's kind of boosted the popularity of all of these. So this one will always be high on the list. This is the FS101, small over large date, and it's also a really nice repunch mid-mark. You can see the Denver mid-mark right here, north of the primary, even touching the 9 a little bit. But this is a big one. You should always be looking out for these. These are a quick, easy sell in any condition. This particular one, as you can tell, not the best looking piece, but still managed to sell for $110.19. Here's a 1998 Lincoln Memorial cent. This is a pretty nice double struck coin with a what they call uniface reverse, which means this is one of those coins that overlapped another coin to produce an indent with a possible brockage. All right, so this is the key to someone's heart, or another coin rather. But you can see the secondary strike is approximately 80-85% off center. Very wild looking coin. You got the full date, which is important. And this sold for $30.25 with 12 bids. Oh yeah, now it's nice to have a nice little classic on our hands. Here's the 1864 Indian head cent. This is the copper nickel white cent composition, so it's the much thicker coin. We have a little bit of a broad strike here on this one, so you can see the coin is a little bit bigger. It's got a fatter rim. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing too incredibly crazy, but it is a mid-error, and you know, it's a very nice graded example. It's not graded, but the grade is exceptional. I would say it's probably mid-state. This one ended up selling for $269.99. And another big one here, this is what a coin would look like if it was struck through a very early state cap die, to the point where you still have a lot of the reverse design left on that cap. So when it strikes other coins like this is a struck through a cap die with a full mirrored brockage, which is phenomenal. I love these at the earliest state of this type. And you know, it's like almost looking at a two-headed monster, because the reverse is a fully struck memorial back design. So this coin, surprisingly or not surprisingly, sold for a good fair amount of cash. How about $133.75 with 33 bids? Just a beautiful looking example. 1965 Washington quarter. Yeah, this one is definitely off center, maybe by about 10, maybe 15%. Coin's in nice shape. Again, a number of these are out in the marketplace if you wanted one at the first state here. $59.99 was the sale price. And yeah, that's a really good sale. This one's not the prettiest looking $10 bill I've come across, we'll be honest. This one is ragtag status, to be sure. It's got some really sharp folds, some edge splitting. 1950A is a series date. The front of the note looks okay, maybe slightly miscut or misaligned. We're probably more miscut. But I'm telling you, flip that bad boy over. Woo! Yeah, a misaligned sheet on the reverse print there, to the point where you can see some of that selvage, is what they call it, beyond the margin area, where it's got the sheet serial number and all that great stuff. Yeah, pretty wild. I mean, look at this. It's like night and day. And even with all the condition issues, I mean, this is a net details graded note. I wouldn't necessarily grade this. $480 was the sale price, and that's with 25 bids. Again, very wild sales realized. Here's a 2000p Virginia statehood quarter, slightly off center, and maybe a little bit of a partial tilted collar. Kind of hard to tell from these photos. But we've seen this one before, so nothing too crazy. Still a good seller, because there are folks, putting together statehood quarter error collections. And this one sold for $31.98. Really nice 1920 Lincoln. This one has a lot of stuff going for it in a positive way. We still have some nice mint red in the protected areas. I would say it's probably a high-end, about uncirculated coin. It looks like there's a little bit of an improper alloy mix, a little bit of a woody wood grain toning on the obverse there. As you can see, there's some of that apparent. And then, of course, the white elephant in the room, the curved clip. And it's legit. See all this flattening here on the opposite edge? Yeah, that's what they call a Blakesley effect, folks. and that's important to see. Now, not all genuine clips have the Blakesley effect, so that's something you need to know. But a good-looking coin on a very obsolete, dated coin. This thing is beautiful. So I wasn't too completely upset when I heard it sold for $58. I think that's a fair rate for this coin that has many multiple personality traits that I adore. Well, yeah, we are bound to talk about one here in this video. So we have another Tuskegee Airman Burning Building Strike Through. So we have this one here, and the coin is in actually really nice shape. A far departure than from what you can find currently out there. I would say 75-80% of what you do find are pretty well circulated. They're going to have lots of nicks and stuff, but if you found one that's still in mid-state condition like this one, that's a huge bonus. $46.25 was the sale on this one with 13 bids. So that is quite impressive there. And we haven't talked about a Wounded Eagle sack dollar in quite some time, but here you go. Here's one here for you. And this is the seller states it's in remarkable condition. Okay, maybe not the same terminology, but they said it could be uncirculated, really nice grade. And it looks pretty decent. You know, there's a little bit of oxidation on there, so probably circulated for just a little bit. But here's a little bit of a close-up. You can see the die gouge that goes through the breast feathers of the eagle. And then there's usually, it's paired up with a little smaller gouge right next to it as well. So this coin sold for $46.24, and that's with 13 bids. 1982, Lincoln Memorial Cent. Again, here's another one of your prototypical indents with a slight brockage in there. But yeah, there's another piece that fits to this one like a puzzle. Luckily, we could tell that it has a full date, and it is a large date bronze. All right, so yeah, we do know the composition and all that just by looking at the coin. And this one here, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $65. Impressive. Yeah, the Wounded Eagle, by the way, if I didn't tell you, sold for $162.50, which is a very strong amount of money. I forgot if I did or not, so there you go. Now you get it. And then the final coin of the day is this undated Lincoln Memorial Cent with a massive cut die break covering part of the date. Looks like it could be from the 1990s or 1980s, but the cut is big enough that it even goes into the Lincoln's bust area. So yeah, very wild one here. This one sold for right around $100. And this is a cut that I don't see that often. I mean, it's really nice and it's quite scarce. And it's always good to see things like this that pop up. You know, this one will surprise you. Am I necessarily in the market for something like this? Probably not. You know, again, with cuts, it's the type of thing that I prefer to find for myself. I think there's a lot more fun in that and understanding that there is a huge secondary market for these. And the coin can be in any condition, and they're still going to have a really strong sales as a result. So that was the final coin for the PCMR for June 17th, 2023. That sure was a lot of fun. There was a lot of things to talk about today. Again, always look out for those extra V Lincolns and probably do what you can on them before some new information that won't work favorably on the coins. You know, it'll give you time to sell them or grade them and, you know, do all sorts of things if you want to. So that's it. So we're less than 2 weeks away from the Northeast Oklahoma Coin Show. It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Cox Business Center. It's going to run from Thursday, June 29th, all the way up to July 1st, which is Saturday. I will be there in attendance along with the rest of the live coin Q&A panel. So a lot of your favorite folks like Paula, Adam Chambers, Coins and Ghouls, Shannon Smith, Shay Hoffmaster will be there as well. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, we're also going to see a lot of the other big YouTube content creators that do things in either the numismatic or the precious metals arena. of the hobby. So you're going to see quite a few personalities in one room, myself included. I'm just a regular guy, by the way. I'm not the self-proclaimed celebrity of any sort. But if you come by and you're local, or if you're making the trek to the show, come by and say hi. Gladly shake everybody's hand, and we're going to have a lot of fun and a lot of great times. So hope to see you guys there. That's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this one. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy hunting, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.